In this section, we're going to learn about Venn diagrams and set notation. Let's start with the first problem to help us understand what Venn diagrams and set notation looks like. It says make a Venn diagram of the following chart showing what classes each was enrolled in this semester. So first we'll start with Ashley. She's enrolled in both math and science, but not language arts. So I'm looking for a space that's just in math and science, but not language arts. It looks like that would be right here. A place that's both math and science, but not language arts. Betsy is in language arts and science, but not math. So language arts and science, but not math. That would place Betsy right there. She's both in language arts and science, but not math. Chris, actually I think is in all three, math, language arts, and science. He's in all three, so the only place that represents all three would be right in the center. Devonte has math and language arts, but not science. So math and language arts. So that would place Devonte right up here at the top. It's math, language arts, but not science. Eder is in math and science, but not language arts. So math and science, but not language arts. That would put it in the same little region that we've already used once. Frank isn't in any of these. So since Frank's not in any of these, the way we do that is we just place an F on the outside. George is only in science. So we can put a G right here for George because he's only in science. Heather is only in language arts. So the place that represents only language arts would be right here. Isabella is in math, and that's it. Nothing else, just math. So just math would be right here for Isabella. Jessica is only in language arts. So that's the only thing Jessica's in, so that would be up here with the H. And finally, Krista is only in math. Just like Isabella. So you can see Isabella, those are the same. So basically that's where everybody belongs. Now we're going to go through and try to figure out which set fits where based on both things. So let's first look at the first one. It says language arts, and so anybody that's in this region would be considered in language arts. We just need to list everybody that fits in that circle right there. So it looks like if I do these in alphabetical order, that would be B, C, D, and then H, J. You use a little set bracket looking at things, and I placed everybody that was in language arts right there. So let's just check this with the chart too. So it should be Betsy, Chris, Devonte, got that, Heather, and Jessica. We have all those. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is the intersection of math and science. So that little N right there means intersection. So that's just where math and science overlap. So the math and science intersection would be right here. So that would imply where they overlap. So if we look carefully up here, the places that those overlap for this intersection would be A, C, and E. Now I know it's just A and E for this, but anybody that's in math or science would count, so it's anybody in both of these regions. Right, the next one's a little bit stranger. It actually says math complement. That little prime right there stands for complement. And it means everything but math. So basically I'm going to highlight, go around the outside of math and not include it. So anything that's in this shaded region here that's just outside of math counts. So as long as they're not in math, they count. So it would be all of these letters right in here. So starting with B, if I do these in alphabetical order, after that would be F, and then G, H, and J. Those are all the things that all the people that aren't in any math class right there. That's the complement, means everything but. Alright, when you have a U right there, that stands for union. And union means basically when you have that, you're going to combine the two regions. Alright, so if you can combine math and language arts, any student that would be in either one of these circles counts. That's different than intersection. Intersection is the overlap, but union or the U, is for when we combine the two together. So anybody that's in those two circles would be part of the answer for this one. Alright, so let me scroll back up so I can see it at the same time. So anybody that fits in those circles, if I try to do these in alphabetical, there's quite a few. A, B, C, that's those, A, B, and C, and there's D is also in this one. E is also in this one. F is not. G is not. H is. I is. And J and K are. See if I can make that fit a little better. So pretty much everybody was in one of those two groups when I combined them together, except for the G and F, I guess. Everybody has been in those two regions right there. All right, this next one takes a little bit more thinking because it's got two steps basically to find this one. First they say math, union, language arts, but then they put a complement sign over all of it. So if I looked at math and language arts, that would be everybody in here, kind of like we just got finished. The complement is everything but those two regions. So it would be everything except for math, union, language arts, which would basically be the outside again. So it'd be all of these right in here. So I first started by identifying what math, union, language arts was. That's math, union, language arts. And this is that prime is right there. It's everything on the outside of that because that prime means the opposite. Alright, so if I look up here who's in that region, that would only be G and F, or F and G. Alright, the next one says math intersect language arts complement. Okay, so if I'm going to do language arts complement, that would mean, let's kind of do this in two steps. So I'm looking for, let's do this like this. Alright, so first I'm going to have math, and I want to figure out where that intersects with language complement, which means everything except for language. So let me kind of do the outside here. I'm doing everything except for what's in the language circle. Okay, so I drew these green lines everywhere except inside language arts because it means language arts, and that means intersect, or the overlap between those two regions. So where do you see green and red at the same time? I can kind of see it right in here. Do you see it like that crescent moon kind of looking shape? Has both red and green at the same time. So let me erase this and highlight just that area right there. So it would be basically this region right here. It would be the intersection of math and the complement of language arts. So let's see which students fit in that space right there. It looks like it would be A, E, I, K. Right, the next one says the intersection of math, language arts, and science. It's asking where do they all overlap at the same time. So if I highlighted each one of these, the only place they overlap is in the middle, but you can kind of see that if I first do math, and then I highlight language arts, which would be this way, everything inside language arts. And then finally, if I compare that to everybody in science, where do you see both, or all of it being red, green, and purple at the same time? It's that little region right there in the center. So intersect all of them would be this region right in here, because that's where they overlap. They all overlap at the same. I believe only one person fit in the overlap of all those, and I think it was C. Alright, let's try the next one. It says math, union, language arts first. Let's do this one in red. Math, union, language arts would be combining these two. So look carefully. Do you agree that would be math, union, language arts in red? And I want to find the intersection of that with science. So science, I'm going to highlight the science circle now. Okay, so since that says intersects, that is right there, meaning where these two regions overlap. And if you look carefully, I can see where it's basically red and purple is right in those three regions right there. It's red and purple at the same time. So let me erase this and highlight the area that's relevant. It would be this area right in here. You saw that when I just did the red and the purple. Alright, so any students that fit in those three regions right there would be part of it. So let's look up here and see what those three regions represent. So it looks like A, B, C, E. If you look, A, B, C, E are all in those regions. Now let's try it again. So this one says first we'll do math intersect language arts. That means where they have overlap right there is math intersection of language arts is that little space right in there. And that's to be unioned or combined with all of everybody in science. So if any of this gets shaded, it's part of the answer. So anybody in here, so it can be just green, just red, or a combination of both. So when I say it like that, that union means I need to combine these two areas together. And so it'll basically be like that whole circle plus that little piece right there. So it'll be this entire circle and that little piece right there. Alright, so let's go back to the top and see which members fit in that whole bottom science group, as well as that one little top piece. So it looks like A, B, C, D, E, and G. Look, it's that whole circle, A, B, C, D, E, and G. That's all in there. Alright, I'm going to stop here, and please don't hesitate to ask if you have additional questions.